Hey, so I wanted to make this video. Gonna post it on YouTube, not Facebook. See what kind of audience I can get. My YouTube, I think, is Niall Staven or Niall at Gmail is the my Gmail address. But I just seen a video of my cousin Joy, and it inspired me to want to talk about kind of my experience as an adult. My cousin Joy, basically, I think she made a video a year ago. It's called Joy's Auto Drama, I think is what it says. But it's basically her talking about her experience growing up with a lot of medical conditions, things physical more than mental. But I just related in the sense that I've been in a medical field, in a medical setting, off and on since I was about 19, and I've had various successes and failures inside a medical setting since then. Specifically regarding my mental health, I know that word term is thrown around a lot these days: mental health, mental illness. But the idea is that people like me got really kind of sideswiped and stuck in these situations where, people are involved in a medical setting as patients, and there are people supporting as different types of positions, staff and patients. I've always been a patient ever since I first was told I had bipolar disorder when I was 20. It took me a long time to finally figure out exactly what my diagnosis was. I think today it rests somewhat something as schizoaffective with emotional mixed episodes or something like that. But it's rare, and is almost they practice treating illness or described symptoms with medication. So for the past 10 years, maybe a little bit, about 10 years, maybe a little bit more, I've been on and off and tried various medications. So there are different types of psych meds. There are medications for depression and anxiety, as well as medications for psychosis and mania and depression, as I said, and different things, medications that help with things like ADHD or obsessive compulsive disorder or bulimia, anorexia, also things that are for bipolar disorder or what's called or schizophrenia. But yeah, I mean, the idea is that for even the hospital now, and it's just for a long time it's been this kind of story of hospitalizations with a lot of success. I'm still alive at this point and continue to work on my health on a daily basis. I take medication. For a long time, I was taking medication that was hurting me, and that I was not agreeable with, and didn't want to be on. But they would continue giving it to me without an ultimatum, without an offer, like an alternative or anything. They're being incredibly harsh about it. So basically, we're saying if I didn't take that by mouth, they would inject me with medication that I didn't want to take. The medication I'm taking today is somewhat of a compromise, as I've been better medicated in the past and still feel symptomatic, especially with depression and anxiety. Medication that has been very helpful for me has been selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, also known as antidepressants, which are drugs like Paxil, Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa, and have been very helpful. Other drugs that originally were very helpful back in high school, I was on, probably in my 20s too, but initially was on a medication called Concerta, which was Ritalin. After that, for a long time, took Adderall, and haven't been using that recently, but would consider other medications than what I'm currently on if given the opportunity. But ultimately, medications have been kind of hit or miss. Some of them help with symptoms, but have side effects that are really strange. And I think also I have Lyme disease, which has affected me for about 10 years, which means there's a bacteria that grows in the regenerative tissue of my spinal column, meaning that if I fall asleep at night, I'll wake up completely numb or unable to, and I just gotta basically shake it out, and I'll come back alive and stuff. It'll regenerate. But this has happened for a long time, for many years, and kind of is a steady state now. It doesn't bother me more than any getting up in the morning kind of does. But I find mornings difficult. I'm more of an afternoon eating person. But ultimately, medications that they gave me at some point that I found were very, very hurtful. Medications such as Depakote and what's called lithium, drugs that I was on, but was not happy about being on. Today I take an antidepressant and a medication for mixed episodes, height and low. It's not about drug. I think it's considered it's considered an atypical antipsychotic, but it's a relatively small, it's like a 3 milligram dose, and it's a more modern medication, and that seems to be the best medication I'm taking right now, besides what I take at night, which kind of makes me a little bit dizzy and different things. A lot of times I deal with nausea. Yeah, it's been a struggle. I mean, there's been points where I've lost it, and it's so sad to go through that, because it's like experiencing, the worst possible side of me. It's usually temporary. I get through it, but in terms of this medication kind of causing these symptoms, was what I was experiencing for a long time, about 3 or 4 years, and since then, I've been able to maintain balance, relative to the past year or two, maintain balance, and having much less episodes where I'm either angry or I tend to be more depressed now than angry. But at some point there were times with my family or in the hospital where I would just get unbelievable, and it's so sad to go through that, and so sad to experience that. And I've probably lost so many friends because potential either not understanding what I'm going through, or just considering me to be rude or something when I'm not. I'm suffering some sort of horrible episode. Things that help me feel better are believing in heaven, that there's a place for everybody to go after life, regardless of how much suffering you did in life. You should be able to go to the afterlife and do better, save souls. I think is very important. The idea of salvation is very important to me at this point. I believe that people should be sanctified and purified for their time, either on this world or after, or through multiple lives. I believe that we're all born again. Everyone has multiple lives, and that eventually people will come to realize that that it's difficult for a lot of reasons in the universe, and I think the struggle is real, and ultimately would tell people about mental illness as being a kind of a stick in the mud situation. It's like, I know people who've been in units for years and years, 7, 10, 20 years, and they're still around. They're just suffering because of medication or supposed illness, or the side effects of medication or the symptoms of the illness, or both, can cause feelings of dysphoria, or different medical problems. People have obesity. It's a big problem for a lot of people. Even me, I'm overweight. We're about 100 kilo, and I'm not happy about it. I'm trying to lose weight, but it's really difficult. I think I've lost maybe 25, 30 pounds, but even then I'm still about 100 kilo, and maybe not that much, but still 15, 20 pounds, but still probably 100 kilo. And one weight, I think in 2017 I weighed like 165, 170, which is like 70 kilo, and felt much better. But yeah, it's just the diet here is deplorable, and the amount of stuff to do. There's not much to do. I keep myself busy because I'm gonna have my cell phone and my Switch and books and music. So I stay busy most of the day just watching cool videos, cool movies on Netflix or whatever. I want to get back into YouTube and stuff. But yeah, I mean, shout out to you, Joy Carpenter, for kind of what's the idea? Inspiring this video. I don't know if you'll ever see it, but hearts out to you, Joy. I love you so much, and the idea is that ultimately we've been, I understand your struggle. Your struggle is real, and doesn't invalidate your feelings or your pain, your experience, or anything like that. But as you said, you've been able to also explore things like theater and different things, and I think that's so great. If you continue sticking with the things that you deem to be positive for you, then ultimately your life will have been led in a manner that hopefully was a positive for you. I think people suffer for so long and then just outlive anything. So it's like, I'm old, but I've been suffering for 30 years. It's like it's difficult to deal with those kind of situations or consequences. But yeah, I know. Hopefully, I'll lead a better life. There's kind of this debate about what's going on right now with me. I'm feeling okay, as I was saying. I was trying to stay positive. I'm trying to believe I'm in a think tank most of the time, and ultimately believe that positive thinking and mindfulness and And chi is very important. I knew a woman, Alice Zombie, who practiced chi all the time. She would only wear cotton, and she was very positive, and I think she was a great person. I've met a lot of people here in the unit. I probably know, if not know me, thousands of people, and a lot of them, are going through different things. A lot of it's probably work related things. Things like stress at work or just finding the right opportunity. School was a big one for a long time. I'm 28 now, so I'm kind of older than school. I know I could go back to school if I wanted to, but that's not the most immediate thing. The most immediate thing is taking care of my mental health and realizing that eventually either things will get better or they won't, or some combination of them. And hopefully I keep living. I'm trying to live to be 100 or 80. Like the rest of my family. And shout out to my mom and my dad and my sister and my aunt Heidi, who've been going through this with me. But ultimately, it's been a struggle. And I believe in certain ideals, things that might help with world politics or economics or just organization as a whole. I think people should stop relying on gasoline. It's very important that people stop driving if they're able to, and stop wasting gasoline is one of the most important things at this point. Yeah, thank you. Love you, all of you.